Okay. You convinced me. All right, here it is. Here's the formula. Let this sink in. When you learn to do more with less, you will be able to do less to get more. One more time. Pay attention. It's very powerful. When you learn to do more with less, you will be able to do less and create more. And after all, isn't that the idea behind what you call entrepreneurial spirit and being truly abundant? That you don't actually really have to do that much, that you don't really have to work that hard to bring in truckloads of money? Isn't that the idea? But how do you get to that point of not needing to do so much and yet bringing in so much? The way you get to the point of not having to do so much to make so much is finally learning to begin the process by learning to do more with less. That is the training that your consciousness needs to understand. When you accept, when you allow it to be all right, as an artist, to go back to our illustration, when you allow it to be all right to know that you can still be an artist in every sense of that concept, not lacking a thing from that concept, of its expression, of its heart, when you know you can be an artist with a stick, then you will understand how to do very little to bring to you any other tool of the artist that is possible for the artist to have to be able to express yourself on any other level you want. Remember, this is based on the idea that the greatest power, the greatest expression of power requires the most delicate touch. When you feel powerless, you attempt to move things around a lot to get them to work. You think you have to exert a lot of pressure. You think you have to exert a lot of force to make something happen. But if you stop and think about it, think about the power of creation itself. When you really are powerful, then all it takes is the slightest nudge of your little finger to move mountains. Because you are that powerful. And when you are that powerful, you don't have to exert yourself. That's the point. So when you know how to let it be all right to do what you need to do with what you have, that you can do more with less, you will empower yourself and enrich yourself and energize yourself to such a degree that the cycle will be completed. The circuit will be closed. You will use both sides of the paradox, and you will begin to see that as you become more powerful, you will need to use less of the power to accomplish more. But you've got to start by opening the gates of your imagination and by allowing yourself to understand that you, just as you are right now, without anything, you can accomplish what you really need to accomplish for yourself in some fashion. And you need to stop measuring the idea and comparing and contrasting and conflicting the idea that just because all you're capable of doing is making a picture with a burnt stick, that somehow that means you are not the artist you want to be. You've got to stop that now. Or none of this and anything else we're going to say will make any sense. Do you understand that? It's all based on this formula, on this principle, and that's it. That is the secret to money. The secret to money. When you know that you can do more with less, you will require less to do more. You need to train yourself to understand this. You need to train yourself to live this way. You need to train yourself to remember this so that it is your first thought. Not your second or your third or your last, your first thought. It is your priority. It is your job. It is your duty to yourself to understand how much access you have to everything, and that access requires almost nothing. Nothing. All you have to do is be willing to stretch and expand your definition of what it is you are and allow what you are capable of doing to be part of that definition instead of excluding it and saying, oh no, people who draw with burnt sticks are not artists. They're not the artist I want to be. Yes, it is. In every way. In every way. Now, while that's soaking in, let's go on to a third point. Did you all bring your coins? Is there anyone who doesn't have a coin? All right. Now, remember that we suggested that it be, in your terms, a real coin. It is all well and good for you to be creative and make up coins or draw pictures of them, but we are now in this exercise talking about the idea of real money in your terms. Would you rather have real money or would you rather have an abundance of paper coins? All right. Get out your coins as you have chosen them. It doesn't matter whether they are pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, 50-cent pieces, dollar coins of any kind. It doesn't matter. Make sure it's a coin you believe is a real spendable coin. More than likely, I will leave this up to you, but more than likely you may want it to be a denomination from your own culture so that you really feel you understand what you consider the value of that coin to be, rather than working from something that comes from another country on your planet. So, have you all got your coins? All right. Now, we're going to play a little game of exchange in the following way. I want one volunteer that has a penny. Who's got a penny? All right, stand up. I want one volunteer that has $1. All right, stand up. All right, now, I'm going to ask a question. Both of you, in whatever order, do you have a favorite candy? Do you have a favorite candy?
Chocolate?
All right, chocolate.
Chocolate.
You have a favorite candy? Both say chocolate. All right. All right. Now, person who has the penny, person who has the $1, all right. Exchange. Have you exchanged? Have you exchanged?
Yes, we have.
All right, now you have the penny?
Yes.
And you have the $1? Yes?
Yeah.
Yes or no, do you?
Yeah, it's $1.
Oh, all right. Are you sure?
I think $1, yes.
All right, thank you. All right. But it is $1, yes?
Yes.
All right, thank you. All right, now, who got the best of that deal? Well, it might depend on a lot of things, but in general, your society would think what?
I scored.
You scored. All right. And you?
I lost.
All right. You lost. Now, you with the $1. Hello?
Yeah.
Thank you. You have now come upon a vending machine containing your favorite candy.
Oh boy.
The vending machine is one of those nice, charming little glass bubble jobs. It only takes pennies.
Oh no.
Now how valuable is that penny to you? How valuable all of a sudden is that penny?
Can we trade?
Go ahead.
I don't know. It might be worth about $1.
Trade them back. Do you get the point?
I got it.
Relative value is not just the idea of what monetary value you have given to the coin, but what its value is to you at any given moment in any given situation. You can be walking down the street and you see that wonderful, delicious chocolate in that machine and your pocket is full of dollars. And you need a penny. Now how rich are you? Not very. Not as rich as the person with the penny who can waltz right up to the machine and plunk it in and get that delicious chocolate. Because the person with the penny now has the ability to do what they wanted to do when they wanted to do it. And you don't. You have to go find someone to change the dollar. You go through a process, all well and good, but the point is already made, is it not? All right. I want you to look at the coin you have brought. You may sit down and relax if you are not already doing so. I want you to look at the coin you have brought. I want you to understand as you look at it that you are really, truly, truly developing a relationship with this coin. You're going to marry this coin. Yes, marry this coin. Every single one of you. So I would suggest that if it's not the coin you want to marry, you better get another coin out right now. However, remember what we just did. Remember what we just did in the lesson that was learned. Don't think, oh, I've got a penny, I better trade it for $1 quick. If you chose the penny, maybe there was a good reason for that, and maybe your imagination is saying it will work for you, and it actually is the perfect marriage for what you need in terms of discovering your relationship to money. It has nothing at all to do with the idea that that means you're only going to be getting pennies for the rest of your life. You can get dollars, you can get millions of them. But understand that this is about the relationship to money. And if you find that it feels better emotionally in your heart to marry the coin in your hand and not judge it by its so-called value, which we have just proven worthless in certain circumstances, then maybe you will let go for the moment of the idea of the arbitrary value and begin the true relationship to find the real value of money to you. The real value from your heart, not your head. Now, we're going to digress just a little bit, but not really. There is something very important you all need to understand. A few of you may have heard of this. Probably most of you have not. All of you know this empirically, but most of you think of it only as a metaphor. Most of you know that your heart knows things. That your heart is smart. Not just your head. Your heart is smart. It has now begun to be discovered on your planet through, of course, let's validate it, scientific research, verifiable, scientific, repeatable, experimental research, that the intelligence of the heart, cell for cell, is greater than the intelligence of the brain. Literal intelligence, literal awareness of its own. It has now been shown, and many of you have heard these anecdotal stories that are now being scientifically verified, that when a heart patient receives a transplant, that many times they begin to actually take on the characteristics of the person that donated the heart. This has now been proven true. that the intelligence is actually in the cellular memory of the heart, and that it actually will make a difference and change the person that receives it. In one case, just to drive the point home, so that you understand that this is not arbitrary, and that they're not going off of these little subtle measurements and, oh, well, it could be that or it could be this. A person was murdered. The heart was taken out of that person and given to another young girl. The heart was able to tell the girl who the murderer was, and he was caught. Based on the recipient's memory of the murder from the heart. This is real, solid, interactive energy and intelligence. The point is that this relationship to money must come along with the heart's understanding as well as the head's. It must be holistic as a marriage is holistic. It must not be simply intellectualized. Again, please understand, we are not talking about becoming egocentric, money-grubbing, money-crazed misers, materialistic fiends who give no thought or care for other people's welfare. But what we are really talking about here that will make all the difference is that you really must learn how to develop and have a love affair with money. A true marriage with money. And if that's going to happen, you have to understand how to listen to your heart as well as your head. Because what they have discovered in addition is that the nature of your brain is that it wants to create, for purposes of clarity and processing, divisions, compartments, so it can understand how things relate. But what the heart wants to do is simply relate and be in love with everything and everyone. So, what we're going to do now is to learn to be in love with this coin, to marry this coin, and you're going to understand that by marrying this coin, you're going to marry all money, because it's all one thing. This is a representative of one thing, a whole concept, an entire event, a whole intelligence. Money, exchange, trade, value given, value received. It's one thing. This coin is your partner. Let's begin the ceremony. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today in the sight of these witnesses and surrounded by our loved ones, so that you and the coin may be joined together in holy wedlock and understand this is sacred. This is sacred. This is sacred. Are there any objections to this? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Do you take this coin to be your lifelong partner, your lifelong friend, your lifelong lover, to reflect to you in sickness and in health, for richer and for richer, to reflect to you that you are worthy of infinite and unconditional abundance and love, to reflect to you that you are not separate from life, to reflect to you that creation holds nothing back from you, to reflect to you that this with yourself, that this relationship to this coin is the relationship truly of your worth, of your expression of creativity, of your expression of willingness to be who you are. Do you take this coin to be your unconditionally loving and loved partner forever and ever? Do you, little coin,